What if the reason you feel like you never have enough time isn't actually because you're busy? What if the real problem is that no one ever taught you the skills of time management? Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ali. I'm a doctor turned entrepreneur and the author of Feel Good Productivity, a book about how to be productive in a way that actually feels good. This is the third video in a 3-part video series about how to manage your time outside of your 9 to 5. In video number 1, we talked about the 5 mindsets that are useful when it comes to managing your time. In video number 2, we talked about the 5 time drains, things that, if you eliminate them from your life, will free up gallons and gallons of extra time. And in this final video in the series, we're going to talk about 5 key skills that are incredibly useful to develop if you want to massively improve your time management abilities. These skills will help you free up your time, your energy, and your attention so you can focus on what truly matters in your life. Skill 1. Skill number 1 is the skill of prioritization. One of the most common things I hear from people who have 9 to 5 jobs or even students is the phrase, "I don't have time." They might say they don't have time to take care of their health, spend time with family, start a YouTube channel, or start a business. But one of the biggest breakthroughs in my own time management came when I stopped using the phrase, "I don't have time," because it's almost never true. It's not that we don't have time, it's that the thing we want to do isn't a high enough priority yet. For example, you might feel like you don't have time to learn Japanese, but if someone put a gun to your head and said you had to study Japanese for 1 hour a day, you'd suddenly find the time. So it's really about priorities, and that's okay. The goal isn't to cram more things into your schedule. The goal is to spend more time doing what's actually meaningful to you. To improve prioritization, the first step is having clear goals. When you know what you want, both in your work and your personal life, it becomes much easier to prioritize the activities that will get you there. For example, if your goal is financial freedom, your priorities will look very different than if your goal is becoming fluent in Japanese within 2 years. Once you have goals, you can prioritize the actions that move you toward them. One tool I like to use is something I call the daily adventure. Every morning I ask myself, what is today's adventure? In other words, what is the single most important thing I want to get done today? Sometimes it's work-related, sometimes it's personal, but framing it as an adventure makes the task feel more engaging. Once I decide what the adventure is, I time block it in my calendar. Another tool is identifying side quests. These are smaller tasks related to health or relationships, like going to the gym, getting 10,000 steps, or calling my grandma. And again, wherever possible, I time block these activities, because if it's not in the calendar, it usually doesn't happen. Finally, I strongly recommend doing a weekly review. Spend about 20 minutes reflecting on how your week went and deciding your priorities for the next week. This simple habit can dramatically improve your ability to prioritize what truly matters. Skill 2. Skill number 2 is time blocking. This is the ability to put blocks of time in your calendar for the things that matter. There are 3 levels of time blocking. Level 1 is using a calendar for appointments, things like doctor visits or tax deadlines. Level 2 is blocking your entire day. When I had a 9 to 5 job, I would block work hours, commute time, gym time, video editing time, social events, family visits. Everything went into the calendar. That way, when I looked at my schedule, I had a clear map of how my time was being used. Some people think this sounds restrictive, but actually, it creates more freedom. Because when everything important is scheduled, you can relax during your free time knowing that the essentials are already taken care of. Otherwise, it's very easy to default to scrolling social media for hours. Time blocking helps you be intentional with your time. And it's a skill that gets easier the more you practice it. Skill number 3 is focus. One of the most common struggles people have is simply sitting down and doing the thing without getting distracted. Phones, notifications, social media. Focus is a skill. And like any skill, it can be developed. Many people struggle with focus, but have never actually tried to improve it. They haven't read books about it or learned strategies for improving it. A few great books on the topic include Deep Work by Cal Newport, Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, The Art of Focus by Dan Koh. But the core principle behind focus is simple: single tasking, doing one thing at a time. Studies suggest workers lose 25 to 27% of their workday to distractions and multitasking. Over a 40-year career, that's nearly a decade lost to distractions. If you can improve your focus during your workday, you'll finish your work faster and avoid it spilling into evenings and weekends. And if you can focus during your free time, your hobbies and relaxation become much more fulfilling. Skill 4. Skill number 4 is follow through. This means actually doing the things you said you would do. It's surprisingly rare. For example, you might schedule gym sessions 3 times a week, but when 5 p.m. arrives, excuses start appearing. It's cold outside. I'm tired. I'll go tomorrow. And suddenly, you're scrolling social media instead. Good time management requires intentional action. You decide what matters, you schedule it, and then you follow through. One powerful way to improve follow-through is accountability. For example, working out with a friend, studying with a group, making public commitments. For example, I've written a weekly email newsletter called Sunday Snippets every single week for 6 years. Sometimes I didn't feel like writing it. Sometimes I was exhausted after work. But because I had made a public commitment, I followed through. Accountability makes it easier to stay consistent. Skill 5. The final skill is energizing your work, because often the real bottleneck isn't time, it's energy. When I had a demanding job, I often came home feeling completely drained. Even though I had time blocked my evenings, I didn't have the energy to do anything meaningful. Over time, I realized that I could change how I approach my work so that it actually generated energy instead of draining it. I describe this using 3 principles: play, power, people. Play, making work more enjoyable and engaging. Power, feeling a sense of progress and mastery. People, connecting with others through your work. These ideas form the foundation of my book, Feel Good Productivity. By designing your work to be energizing, you can finish your day feeling motivated instead of exhausted. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.